Hi all, welcome back to the new video. Today we are going to learn how we can create a library module inside our application. So what exactly the library module is? Now let's take an example. You're working on a huge application where the code base is very huge and modules are increasing day by day. So what you can do is, let's suppose you have to take out some module and you have to make that as a standalone library on SDK for your application, or you want to provide the same functionality to other people as well. So if you want to achieve this thing, then you have to create a module and you have to host that library to the available artifactories available on the online, and that can be availed by other people on demand. What we are going to do is, so if you can see, I already have the retrofit client. So that means, let's suppose you have one application where you are making API calls and all, and you want to make is you don't want to make and you have multiple projects. So uh, instead of replicating your retrofit client and all the classes connected to it, you can create one standalone independent module that can that can be added to independently to all the other different projects, and uh, they can consume the retrofit. Right now, I've created one project and I have initialized and added the dependencies for the retrofit, and I've created the instance for the retrofit client. Let's go ahead and create our module file new, then click on the new module, and here you have to click on the Android library and just name your module. That will be your network module, and minimum SDK, the language, whatever you want to prefer for it, and just click on finish. And once you click on the finish, it will perform the Gradle operations, and now the Gradle operation is completed. And if you can see, it created one more module for us, that is network module, and it consists two packages right now. If you change back to the project tab, then you can see it has independent Gradle file, that Procart rules, consumer rules, and the package, the same way we are having for the main app. Now we will see what happened when we clicked on create new module. So under the hood, what happened is, first we'll check the Gradle file for the network module, which is a bit different as compared to the application one. And when you come here, you can see the plugin ID. So we'll just compare it with our main one. So just click on it, split right, cancel, dismiss. Yeah. So the main thing is com.android.application and com.android.library. So here the library represent that this is a module which can be implemented to other main modules. And apart from that, if we can see, the other things are mostly common. The namespace is a different, so namespace will help you to distinguish between the different modules you have in your project. And the next thing is application ID. So application ID can be only one for one project, so that's why it won't be available in your modules or library projects. And we have the minimum SDK, then we have the build types, compile options, and the dependencies. Okay, and here we have the target SDK version code, version name, and everything, because for the libraries and all, there won't be any versioning and anything like that, so that's why it is not available there. Now let's close it, open our tab. Now what happened, the next thing? So next thing is, let's go to settings.gradle. So here they have included this module in settings.gradle, that is network module. And the next thing is, you can see that there's one more plugin we has been added to your root level Gradle file, that is com.android.library, and with this version. So it means that we have enabled the library and we have added a module to this project. Now let's go ahead and we'll just copy the dependencies, because we want to transfer and we want to migrate our retrofit client from the main module to the network module, and we want to make it independent. So to do that, we'll just come here, we'll just copy the dependencies and we'll just paste it here, and now sync our project. Okay, Gradle sync is completed, it's finished. Now you will get the error for this retrofit client because the classes are not available there. So I'm just drag it and drop it under this package and just click on the refactor. So it will refactor the package and everything, and the dependencies also got resolved. Now let's try to access this module, this retrofit client over here. So what I'm gonna do is log.d main activity base URL dollar retrofit. So now you can see I'm not able to access the retrofit client class which I have created in the network module. Why? Because this main module and the network module are not connected right now. Now to make them connected, you have to add this dependencies, this network module, to your app Gradle file. So what you can do is implementation, then project and network module. Let's sync it. And the Gradle sync is completed. Now let's go to our main activity again. Let's see if we can access it. Retrofit client C. So now we can access the retrofit client over here. So I'll just try to print the base URL that we are passing has been connected with the retrofit. So let's retrofit client dot retrofit dot base URL dot toString. Okay, toString is not required. That's it. Now let's run the application, and I'll just select the app, run the application. I'll open the logcat. Okay, we've got an error. So library module cannot access retrofit to check your module's class path for missing conflicting dependencies. Unresolved reference base URL. Okay. Basically, this will happen when we try to access the retrofit out of the scope of this network module, because right now we are just directly trying to access it, but actually this won't happen because every operations will be happen inside the network module. So to just fix it, okay, so instead of this thing, what we can do is just go to a retrofit client. We'll just create one function where not the where function print base URL. Okay, and log.d retrofit client base URL dollar retrofit dot base URL. That's it. And from the main activity, instead of calling the log, we'll just directly retrofit line dot print base URL. That's it. Let's rerun the app. Now it's launching on device, and we'll just open the logcat, and you can see the base URL has been printed. So that means the network module has successfully connected with our main module, and we are able to access the classes and perform the operations. Now right now we have here just hard coding the base URL, but in some cases where we want to make the retrofit client independent, then the base URLs will be dynamic, right? So it should not be hard coded ideally. So what you can do is you can have metadata in your manifest. So just go to your manifest, then metadata and name. Here the name it can be like com dot and hub dot retrofit base URL, and the value will be https www.androhub.com, right? So here name is the main metadata which will be accessed in the retrofit client to get the actual value for the base URL, and the metadata should be unique, and it should consist your package name or some authority of your application like com.androhub, and that retrofit what exactly it is going to do, and the base URL. And basically this metadata has to come from the library module only, because the way it is going to handle the metadata, the value, the key and all, so in the same way you have to handle it. So now we can just get rid of this thing, and we'll just create one function, private function, or we can just create it there itself, private function get base URL, and this will be of string type, and we'll just call this over here get base URL. Now we have to perform, we have to add we have to write a logic to retrieve the base URL from the metadata. So to do that, application info, we'll be getting it from the application info, then the metadata application info, and this will be the, and it require the context dot package manager dot get application info. Then here it is taking two parameters. First thing is package name, then the next one is a flag. So again the package name will be context dot package name, and this info is package manager dot metadata info get metadata. Now from this application info we can get our metadata. So well bundle, then application info metadata. Where is this metadata? Yeah, here's the metadata. Now inside this bundle we'll be having all the metadata information that we have declared in the manifest file, and this is a manifest file of the main application. This is not the manifest file of the retrofit client module. Now we can just return, and we have the bundle dot get string, and here we have to pass the key. So the key will be the same which we have used it over here. Just copy it, okay, paste it here. So now there's a default value for it, so you have to pass the default value, and here you can define your default base URL also if you want, or right now just no host. And now this, and to get the base URL we need the context, and we have to pass the context from here. So as we have the, this is an object class, so we'll just create one context, not val, it will be where, and which will be context. This context will be called from the retrofit from the main activity where we will assign the context. So ideally we should not create the context instance like this, but for the example purpose I have just kept it here. Now main activity dot, so retrofit line dot context is equal to this. So we have initialized the context. Now you can use this context and pass it over here, and this is because this context can be null, that way it is giving an error because the get base URL is expecting in null context, so we'll make it null. And this also question mark non-null, then this bundle. So now it will give you an error because the return type will is now not null. So what you can do is again no host when this is null. That's it. Now let's, and we have to initialize the context before we are trying to access the retrofit, because otherwise if we directly call the print base URL, then it will call this retrofit and the context will be null at that time. So when it is null, then it will always print no host. But to print the correct host, then we have to pass the correct pass the context before, and after that we have to call the print base URL. Now let's run the application. The app is launched, and now if you can see what's that, level debug, let's find it. So if you can see it is printing the correct base URL that we have passed from the manifest. Now let's change the base URL. I'm just going to append it with the API, and let's rerun it. Now open the logcat, base URL. Now if you can see, it is coming with the API one, so that means it is correctly picking it from the manifest file. So this is how you can pass the data to your network module from the manifest. In this way, like when you're passing the metadata, so right now the value is a string, but if you're passing the metadata as an integer also, like whenever you are accessing the values from the string from the variables, then the same way you can access, because it is a bundle. So instead of get string, get integer, get byte, get character, so in the same way you can access the data, and you can perform the operation. And this metadata is very familiar with whenever you're working with the payment gateways and the Firebase push notification, where you have to specify the metadata with the API keys or the launcher icon or the channel ID. So in that case, the same way those SDKs are performing, and they have created their own SDKs for it. Till now we have understood how we can create a module, and how we can connect the module with our main module, then how we can access the module classes and call the functions, and how we can pass the values from our main module to the network module. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like, share and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video.